2 months in the books, and the biggest final table is still yet to come. The main event of the World Series is the talk of the online poker world, where just 38 players still remain in the hunt for that $3.9 million first place prize. How'd you like to wake up with that in your bank account, Brent? Huh? Oh boy. Not too shabby. All right, instead you guys get to wake up with us, at least if you were sleeping in. Ali Nejad alongside Brent Hanks for another edition of the World Series of Poker preview show from inside the PokerGO studio. And Brent, lest everyone need to be reminded, you are a huge Buffalo Bills fan, and they have never won a Super Bowl.
No, they've never won a Super Bowl. You always have to point that out. If there were a plastic table in here, I'd go up, down, right through this table.
I mean, this is kind of plastic.
Right now.
What's wrong with that?
Bills Mafia, baby.
Listen,
I'm in it.
You've done better than the Bills have. You've got a bracelet. You've got 34 cashes. You're pretty much an authority on poker.
Well, I wouldn't get carried away. Here. Yeah, next to you, no doubt.
Listen, let's get right to it. There are some real authorities that etched their names in the history books, courtesy of picking up bracelets. Of course, the mammoth prize pool from event number 70, that $25K, going to Christian Rudolph, first place, for $1.8 million, and the rest, just a far cry.
Yeah, and Rudolph, really, I thought it was Jason Koon's tournament to win. Rudolph, not so fast. Took that title right away.
Yeah, we had Jason on the show with us last week. If you missed it, seemed like, his preparation regimen, he was poised, he was ready to go. He had a big pile of chips, and sometimes the cookie just crumbles at the wrong time.
Seventh place is where he resulted, Ali. Yeah. I mean, it was a bit of a turbo sort of thing coming in, as Jason told us, but man, poker variants, it can be brutal.
It very much can, and these guys can tell you all about it, as they had deep runs, but were not able to climb to the summit. And some oldies but goodies out there. Tim West, you don't really hear too much from him these days. I know he's out there doing his thing. Sean Winter, of course, a regular inside the studio, and who can forget Mike Watson?
Yeah, Mad Dog right? Mike Watson. How about Shannon Shore? He's one of those other players, perhaps the best without a piece of hardware.
Well, the big story this week is the massive sigh of relief being breathed by the folks over at GG Poker, as that massive $25 million guarantee was reached in the $5,000 main event, and certainly that is good for poker. And as you look at this main event by the numbers, just staggering stuff, Brent.
Never a doubt. $25 million guaranteed. How about $27 million in change actually came through? Good for $3.9 million up top. Chip leader, not only Bryan Piccioli from the Bills Mafia, Ali.
Well, he might be from the Bills Mafia, but he is currently from south of the border. Down in Mexico is where he is doing his damage. One of the 38 remaining in the main event. We bring him in now, Bryan Piccioli. And, buddy, you look like you are living the dream. I can't believe you packed a Bills hat to the Mexican Riviera.
Oh, I mean, I always pack my Buffalo gear no matter where I go. I usually have a Sabres hat, a Bills hat. Because there's Buffalo fans no matter where you go. I've met Buffalo fans in South America, Europe, so you just never know where you're going to
here in the studio, I got one.
Everywhere in the world, Ali. Just get used to it. You got to love. This is my biggest story. Bryan Piccioli, of course. Have known him for so much of my life. Bryan, I was telling these guys that I believe I've actually known you since you were 16 years old, and I went to your graduation party when you were 18, headed to college for about a week. Yeah.
Also, Matt Berkey was in attendance at that one as well.
That's right.
Yeah, but Matt was invited, though, Bryan. That's the difference.
that's true. Yeah, that was a good crew. And then lo and behold, I'm living out in Vegas with the majority of you guys. Just kind of in the same circle at least. So yeah, it's crazy where poker brings people.
Well, crazy to me, Bryan, is the fact that you are right now poised to have an opportunity to win $3.9 million in this kind of out of left field COVID era online World Series that we have going on. What is the prep going to be like from this point forward? What's worked for you so far? Are you sticking with it? Are you doing anything different?
To be honest, I've just been putting in so much work and hours this summer, because I was back home in Vegas for all of July. I played all the WSOP Nevada stuff. Ended up finishing 8th on Player of the Year. Didn't really have a big score. I think my biggest cash was like 9th in the 1K PLO. So like had a run in the main, just a lot of really close calls. So I was constantly on the door, feeling good. And then, you know, saw this GG schedule, and sometimes these like big buy-ins, especially the re-entries online, kind of intimidate me. But I just, you know, I was feeling good about my performance so far in the summer. So I decided to come down to Mexico and just put in a couple hours of grinding, and got lucky to squeak through. I squeaked through on my first bullet with like you started with 50,000. I ended with like 250. So I had about 5x starting stack, right around average stack. And then, yeah, yesterday just went about like as smooth as possible. I was kind of like average stack most of the day. And then once it got like, you know, maybe 3-4 hours left in the day, things just really started to pick up. I had a really rough table with a couple really tough players on my left. I had Michael Zhang and Cale Burns on my left for like 2-3 hours. So I kind of was just picking my spots carefully with those guys. But yeah, well, I got a table change and those guys were out of my way. And then like, yeah, things just started doing real smooth sailing after that, basically. Yeah, just a lot of fortunate spots. Yeah.
Bryan, I mean, I know you're down there in Mexico. You've got some time between where you're at right now, sucking down that fantastic beverage.
This is actually just ice water, Brent.
There you go. Fine. I get my mind out of the gutter.
My other beverages are on the other side.
Well, do us all a favor, because we know you're in this beautiful location. You've got some downtime while you get your head right, looking to take home this title in the main event. Can you give us a little tour of what you got going on?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I got just like...
Just give us a little out. Yeah, I want to see what's going on here.
Like, just got like my monitor and stuff here, a couple like Bluetooth speakers, and then just open up the...
Look at that.
That doesn't look like Buffalo out there.
No,
That
didn't grow
suck.
up here, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Is that the
Got, like,
ocean
the-
right?
Oh.
Oh, come on. That's just not fair.
Right
And a
behind
pool?
me.
Where is everyone?
It's Monday, so the pool right now is pretty laxed out there. But this weekend, to be honest, felt like it was spring break out there. I was like, oh, I guess COVID's over.
Yeah.
There's just people all just partying all weekend at the pool. So yeah, it was at times, you know, it's not ideal to have like people maybe 30 feet away on the other side of a glass door partying when you're trying to play an online main event of poker, but you know, these are the sacrifices we make to play online poker.
Oh yeah, real noble stuff they're doing over there, Piccioli. Everybody's heart's just bleeding for you as the sound of the Pacific funnels through.
Let me close the door so I can hear you guys real quick. One second.
Okay. We've lost Bryan. He said, the hell with it, I'm going out to the beach, Ollie.
Listen, I got to be honest with you. I don't think Bryan's going to come back if he can just play online poker and be on the beach
honestly,
in Mexico.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. And PokerStars just announced WCOOP, like, just started, like, yesterday. So it's like, and also, I mean, I live in Vegas. You guys know how hot it is there. I might as well just stay down here for another month or so. There's no reason to be home, so we'll see.
Well, listen, we're excited for you, Bryan. Looks like you guys are having a good time out there. Certainly best of luck to you moving forward in that main event, and hopefully we'll be having you back on with a fancy piece of jewelry. Thanks
Bring it
so much.
home,
We
baby.
appreciate
Bring it home to Buffalo. Let's go.
Look, you're such a home.
Never a Super Bowl title, but this kid's going to win the main event. I'm telling you. He's got it all.
All right, speaking of that main event, let's get a look at the chip counts as they head into that final table. The man himself, 18.4 million, followed about 3 million, 2.5 million behind him, Michael Caine, and top 10 rounded out by Joao Santos.
Keep an eye on number 8, Benjamin Roll. He's a legend online, Ollie.
Well, from what's to come to what's already done, Christian Rudolph, bit of a HELLMUTH doppelganger here, took down that 1.8 million in the Players' Championship. Well done, and as if the Germans needed any more results.
Yeah, Rudolph, the German reindeer, just making it rain. By the way, he's got a second place finish in a WSOP Europe event back in 2018, also in a 25K super high roller, 13th in a WSOP main event. How about 1.8 million taking home this title?
How about a little run good? Queen 10 against King Queen. Big Uni had to have punched the monitor, but maybe not, because Uni had himself a hell of a series too.
Absolutely, 1.3 million for second place. How about Shankar Pillai? He was on the quest for his third piece of hardware. The podium finish for Shankar.
Yeah, let's not overlook fifth, the Ramzobian. He's one that's made his name out there on more than one occasion. And of course, disappointment for Jason Koon in seventh. AJ Chabra is engaged, wedding coming up. How about this for a little gift wrap? Looks like the ceremony just got upgraded.
Yeah, New Jersey native. Let me run down this for you as well. In the GG WSOP series alone, he has a 9th place, 10th place, 8th place, 9th place, and finally closes one out here, taking down this limit title.
He's like the Steve Irwin of poker. He's a final table hunter.
That's
He's just there.
Played.
Took down the Ducks, courtesy of that queen on the turn, and here's the rest of that final table. We talked about Shannon Shore, Mike Watson, and then in second, a friend or not really a friend, Brent?
Carter Swidler and I are Facebook friends, which I believe now he's got enough there in winnings. Buy me a beer, Carter. Anything, please.
Like a real one or just a cyber beer? How about Jim Lefterick? Father of 3, plays Fortnite with the kids so that they'll think he's cool. I think they're gonna think Dad's real cool, courtesy of this $300,000 from the 1K No Limit Hold'em 6-max.
Yeah, I can't find anything on the resume. This must be his first big major score, of course, just shy of $300,000. He plays his Grouse Grind online. This is a 1K 6-max event. Ali, the last time I played a 1K 6-max event, it was record-breaking finish. I was out the door in less than 10 seconds.
Look at the sweat here, by the way. You got paint on the end. The king doesn't help. Well, I guess he makes it straight if the king does. Poker's hard. And there's the rest of the final table. As you look out, some less familiar names from GG, but nevertheless, delivering so many memorable moments. The jury was a little bit out before the summer began as to just how much participation we'd be getting on that side of the series with the internationals, the need to travel, and it has just been fantastic. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and if you didn't hear of GG before now, you certainly know what GG Poker is all about right now.
Did you just say now twice?
Living in the now.
That's not. Repeating
Right
words
in the
is not good for poker. I just want you to know that, or at least not good for the show.
Not good for my career.
But good for the show is the Good for Poker segment, which we launch into now. And the very first topic of the day, I give you the Timex bet. Mike McDonald, tell us what it was.
Okay.
And then tell us if you think it was good for poker.
Timex bet. They started it somewhere March, April. He had until the first of the new year. January 1st to be exact, got to hit 90 out of 100 free throws, okay? Have you ever seen the guy shoot, Ali? Did you see the videos that were out there?
No.
Okay, drawing dead. Not a chance in hell this guy's
He
going
looks
to
like Bill Cartwright at the line.
I mean, way worse, way worse. Bill Cartwright throwing it backwards. It was the worst shooting form ever. Well, boy, were we wrong. Never bet against Timex because he won the bet. Controversial at first, kind of, according to Nick Schulman and some others out there, but then the following day he said, I'm going to do it again, taped it, completely won the bet. He was never going to lose. He hit 90 out of 100, buried the biscuits. I just want to point out one fact, Ali. Ray Allen, 89.4% career free throw shooter. Timex beat that.
Yeah, well, Timex didn't have a whole career on which to do it. So I take it you think it's good for poker based on your whole demeanor.
Great for poker.
Yeah.
Great for poker. Prop bets in general, great for poker.
That's really the real question we're asking. And my favorite stories of all time in poker all surround prop bets. In particular, Huckseed, read up on it. Very, very fun stuff. Okay, next up, good for poker, big online guarantees. I think we haven't missed many that I can think of, but big online guarantees, good or bad?
I'm trying to find any reason why this would be bad.
I think I agree with you.
Why wouldn't you want just giant guarantees in poker? And this has nothing to do with the unlimited re-entry, bullet 16, bullet 17, all that jazz. Just big guarantees, you're going to automatically bring in big numbers. This is great for poker.
Yeah, I think with as much rake as gets collected at a much faster clip when you're playing online as a natural function of the speed of the game, I think it's only fair to put those big guarantees up there. And if you miss, call it a little bit of give back.
Yeah,
you know what
why
I mean?
not?
Nothing wrong with that.
Take an L.
Live tournaments reopening. It's a little bit of a COVID question, I suppose, on some level.
Yeah.
But do you think it's good for poker to get these things back up and running now, or do we need to hold off?
Again, this is, I don't think there's any way to avoid not talking about COVID and sort of the state that we're all in right now. Do everything right, make everyone feel safe, bring back that sense of normalcy, and I think that eventually, yes, this is good for poker. Don't rush into it, though, Ali. You can't just rush into this thing.
You know, it's funny, a group of guys that I play with all in the past couple of weeks kind of hit the wall where we started reaching out to one another in the group chat and inquiring as to whether or not we were ready to maybe start going back and playing again. But as long as there's plexiglass and masks, which I think we need, it's still not the same. I'm not sure I'm into it yet. Good for poker, and there's plenty of this out there and has been for a long time. Phil Hellmuth bashing. There was a PokerTube article, called him a narcissist.
Okay,
breaking down the whole
Phil
private
didn't
jet
agree with that assessment.
I don't think he did.
Didn't agree. He wasn't happy with it.
In true narcissist form, by the way. You don't ever say, hey, I'm a narcissist if you're a narcissist.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why he might not think about that. The guy dresses up as Julius Caesar coming into every event. He's got the spotlight on him, all eyes on me. Yeah, why would anyone think that he is an egomaniac?
Well, but is it good that we bash him, or is it bad? Because, you know, every sport needs a hero and a villain. Every story needs a good...
I think that it's good for poker. I mean, let's not forget the guy's nickname is the Poker Brat. Right? When your nickname is the Poker Brat and people want to call you a narcissist, I think you got to own it. Understand who you are, deal with it, move on, make light of it, joke around. He did a good job on Twitter. I thought he responded to that quite well.
Yeah, I think he did it. All right, we talked about big guarantees. How about 25 million locked and loaded and eclipsed? Streaming September 5th. It'll be the main on GG's Twitch page, PokerGo's Facebook, and the PokerGo YouTube. Don't miss it. Now, our next guest played that main event, didn't etch a result, and it hasn't been the greatest summer for him, but we love him. He always does well in the studio. A poker master at a ripe young age, and the man who now holds the record for the largest cash game pot in online history for No Limit Hold'em, Ali Imsirovic. And Ali, the question on everyone's mind is, how sweaty were your palms when you click call on the river against Tan Juan in that thing?
Yeah, that hand was so outrageous. Like, I thought he didn't have anything the whole way, so there was some chance I called river with just ace high when I lost like a million chip pot with just calling it off dead. But yeah, once he shoved river, I was super excited. I just couldn't wait to click call, and yeah, I was real happy afterwards.
That's why he's cut out for this stuff, because I would have been like, oh my God.
I mean, I'm going to go there, Ali. I'm looking through your results for WSOP Online Series, a plethora of cashes, but it looks like maybe you needed to win the largest pot in history in order to get even based on these results. Is that true?
Yeah, I skipped a bunch of their later stuff / like last minute reg. So like I just kind of like folded into their money like half these tournaments. Yeah, I had like no real shot to win any of them. But yeah, these games have been insane. Just like 500, 1K, 2K has been running like basically every day, and people are swinging millions. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna say who's up or down, but yeah, like there's a lot of guys who are just like, who are like known big winners in online games and now might be down online because of these games. Like Lifetime just like crushing in like last 2 weeks, now they're down online. It's so crazy.
Now, it feels a little bit silly to ask you this because, you know, you haven't really been around that long, and yet you've accomplished so much. Given that you have accomplished so much in such a short time span, though, I feel like it's appropriate to ask what plans you may have outside of poker, what your goals are, and when you might be looking to do something different, if ever.
Outside of poker? Not for a while, man. Like, I have a dog rescue right now, and like, business-wise, I don't really do much else. I just like invest my money in like stocks and stuff. But yeah, I just love poker, and like, I still think I'm like horrible at poker. Like, there's so much to learn. Like, I learn new stuff every day. So like, I'm still stuck with poker for quite a while.
I wish I was horrible at poker, like you're horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Be in a better spot, that's for sure. All right, so NBA playoffs are going off right now. I know you're a huge Trailblazers fan. RIP, apologies, you guys are out. I have two questions. First one is about that.
Okay.
Who hit the final shot in the last playoff game, the final bucket on the season for the Portland Trailblazers? After you figure out that answer momentarily, I want your thoughts on the Timex basketball bet.
The final shot.
Yeah, the final shot. That's right. This is a little trivia, Ali.
This is Brent's Alex Trebek
to
moment.
Imsirovic, and boy, oh boy, am I excited to give you the answer.
It's not Anthony Simons?
No, it's not Anthony Simons. Great guess. The correct answer is Jalen Adams, St. Bonaventure alumni. Go Bonnies.
I see why you're so excited.
That's right.
As for the basketball bet, man, that was really sharp by Timex. He just puts up a video of him shooting like a complete idiot, and then just hires an NBA basketball coach. All he does is shoot free throws. How does he not get 90 out of 100?
Did you have any action on that bet?
I didn't fire it, but like just seemed like a lock. Like it just seemed like the easiest like bet of all time.
Yeah, I mean, you see that form before he puts it out there. Like, there's no shot.
Like,
I'm betting on him.
Like, futures is just so easy to learn how to do, and like if that's all you're doing and you're getting coached by like one of the best at coaching you to do that, how do you not get it? You know,
Right.
It's so easy.
Ali, where do you go from here, man? You won the biggest cash game pot in No Limit Hold'em history. I mean, are the games just going to keep getting bigger? I mean, where's the limit?
I'm gonna make a quilt of that hand history, but I don't know about bigger. Like last night, Bill was playing, and he wanted to play heads up, so I think him and Limitless were playing, and Bill was like shoving blind and like straddling all in. It was incredible. I don't know. Like, I guess that's much bigger, but like, yeah, the games are already just so insane. Like, how can it get that much bigger, right?
But I mean, when you're out there and you have sort of the insights that you do into playing poker in a way that, like, when people respect the game, and you have somebody out there doing things like that, and we love Bill, but doesn't it kind of make it hard to get out there and do your job?
What do you mean?
Insofar as, like, you're not playing against somebody who's necessarily approaching the game with the same level of, like, I don't want to call it effort, but if a guy's shoving all in blind and doing things like that, you can mess around and get yourself in a really big hole just from a couple of spots where you run bad.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, all you got to do is just not be done with your money, right? Like if you can't afford to like take all your money, just like take half or a third or whatever you can afford. I mean, the game's still really good, right? Like it's, I mean, the game isn't as good as people think because it's mostly like top guys and then like one spot, sometimes two. But like it's still like not like the best game. So like you shouldn't really shot take it if you can't afford it.
I wonder what mom and dad think. Do they ever sweat you? Do they watch? Or they can't do it?
They're in Europe right now for some wedding, and but yeah, after that pot happened, I called them. They were just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like, why are you? Like, TV, why not?
I feel like at this point I can just hear Ali's mom being like, "It's enough. Just retire. Stop, please. Don't be greedy." Right? I mean,
Yeah, I sent them the hand, and they were just like, "Cash out, cash out." I was like, "You can't do that."
I love it. Well, listen, it's good to see that infectious smile on your face. I'm glad that things are going well for you overall, and we certainly look forward to a time where you guys will be back live in our studio sooner than later. Ali Imsirovic, just a pleasant, like, just lovable
The biggest
dude,
smile, man. Like, I keep talking, where is all this young talent across the states that we can become a fan of? There he is, right there. The Bosnian Bandit. This kid is a phenom for a reason.
Really, just such an impressive young man. And let's get a look at just some of the highlights so far in this short career of his. A poker master, originally from Bosnia, loves the Pacific Northwest. By the way, R.I.P. Cliff Robinson of the Pacific
I know, man. By the way, from Buffalo as well. Oh, I'm going to connect you.
It's all about you,
Yeah.
Brent. Okay, that's fine. I want to see him do a free throw bet.
Yeah.
Since he loves basketball. You know what's tougher than making free throws? Winning World Series bracelets, unless you're T. Trong. She made it happen. Made it look easy in Event 74. The $1,500 PLO champ took home $215K. And look at Nathan Gamble, bracelet winner earlier this year on the comms.
And how about the ultimate wrap there? The only wrap I'm familiar with comes from a restaurant. And Brick City. Aces hold.
Had the dry ace just in case there was still action. You could always just blast. There's the rest of that final table. Sean Winter in 8th. Then moving right along to event number 75. Back to Europe we go, and I don't want to do this man an injustice, but the Norwegian Tragvi Leite, maybe $130,000 for first place.
And most importantly, that's the double stack event, not to be confused with double stuff Oreos, which, by the way, cost $12.66 on Amazon. $130,000 and $100 will get you 10,276 packs of those double stuff Oreos, Ali.
Wow. I didn't realize your reach was that far. Moving right along, events number 76 and 78, we had the Lithuanian and Finn duo, the $400 40 stack, taken down by Mr. Uselis And I'll just go with Adnan.
Bill Perkins,
Taking out
clearly
the
not the last cowboy. Adnan's still out there taking home the hardware.
All right, joining us now is probably one of the most fun-loving guys that we ever have on our set here. He is a poker enthusiast, a commodities trader, a billionaire, and now an author, none other than Bill Perkins. Bill, how are you, my friend?
How you doing? I'm doing great. Honorary billionaire, I think it is.
Honorary? Listen, I want to get right into the book. The title of the book is Die With Zero, and truth be told, I was trying to do exactly that when I triple shorted the market way too early. Thankfully, I got out of there. But I was watching CNBC a lot, and I saw you doing an interview talking about this book. Talk to me about what prompted you to write it and what exactly the tenets of the book are that you're sharing with so many people who seem to be getting value out of it.
Well, I've been blathering about the principles and the message in the book for about, 10, 15 years as I've been formulating them in my head and kind of just discussing with friends, trying to refine it, right? And people have gotten a lot of value out of that. And I've seen a lot of people who I know who have kind of like never wasted a dime, but are certainly wasting their lives. And I wanted to prevent that from happening to other people. And not only when, I get this message about net fulfillment over net worth, do I help the person that I'm talking to, right? But when they do this, their loved ones, people close to them, and then the overall community at large benefits, right? Because we don't have money stuffed under a mattress not being put to work, right? We have it circulating in the community. So I thought it was an important time to get this message out since the idea of life cycle modeling isn't out there.
Listen, I was living vicariously through your Instagram. I know you took a trip to Dubrovnik and other places in Croatia and recently got engaged to Lara, so congratulations on that before I forget. Brent, what do you got?
Thank you very much.
I was just curious, the resume, all these jobs you've had, Bill, apparently the honorary billionaire as well. What's your favorite job that you've ever had?
Wow. Favorite job is dad. It's not fun. It's not as fun as you think it is, but it's a lot of joy. Right? It's always like a lot of, but the joy and the warmth you have in your heart is great. But aside from that, it might have been like when I was like assistant directing on a movie I was making, when my director got sick, I got called in and I had to like direct this whole day when he had like the serious flu, and it was like awesome.
Did you get one of the chairs with your name on it? The little fold out?
I didn't put my name on it, but I had a chair. I was moving things. I was doing stuff. I was like, let's take this angle, cut, move, blah, blah, blah. It was a lot of fun being creative.
So now it's really funny because your background in finance predates, I think, the level of enthusiasm that we now see you have in poker. For me, I was into poker before I started messing around with the markets, but I see so many of the similarities. Talk to me about the benefits of having experience trading and being an investor when you're out there and you're playing big cash games and tournaments.
Well, I think the biggest benefit is you understand risk reward, EV, probability, bankroll management, et cetera. The problem is that you throw that all to the side because it's not your day job, right? And you're just having fun, right? And you're like, okay, whatever, the odds of this, but who cares? I want to punish this guy. All in, And so, I think poker players, people in their respective fields exhibit more discipline than when they're in vacation mode. And so that's the issue with the transition from one side to the other, right? But the principles and concepts of poker and trading are very, very similar.
Bill, I got to go here because I'm a diehard college football fan. Big Ten, I know you're an Iowa Hawkeye. Do you get a chance to go back and catch many of these games? And what are your thoughts on the current status of the season?
I think the season may be shot. I don't know how they're furiously trying to figure out when can we start, delay start, what's going on. But yeah, I was there last year, went to a game, Iowa versus Iowa State, and that's a big game. I look forward to going back when season starts back up, but it's different. It's amazing how much these college towns have changed and grown and how big they are. You're like, why is tuition so much more? I mean, part of it is like, look at all these new buildings. Where did they come from, right? But it was very nostalgic. It was really good. And I got to bring my daughters and Lara there to see the town and visit old friends. So I love it.
Well, you run
love Iowa City. Go Hawks.
You run in some circles, Bill, where a lot of people suggest that going to school might be a mistake and it might be an opportunity cost. Are you of that ilk that thinks don't bother?
I am the value proposition of college in terms of career and earnings is definitely diminished and in many fields negative. Whereas the value proposition isn't there. The intangibles and the idea of going to college, in some fields it's still there, right? It's a positive return, positive EV, great life decision. But before it used to be a no-brainer, and now it's like, wait, I want to be a literary guy or X, Y, and Z. Do I pay $40,000 a year out of state at this private school, et cetera? It doesn't make sense. And also in a lot of businesses, it's starting not to make sense. So the value proposition is definitely diminished. There have been some studies on the return on a degree for each field, and there are definitely some that are negative, and that's a big issue we have with higher education right now.
Well, the good news for everybody who's watching us right now is that a degree certainly not a prerequisite to being a successful poker player. We have established that.
Or trader for that matter.
Listen, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day, Bill. Always nice to catch up with you. Take it easy out there. I'm sure he's going to be logging on not long from right now in a cash game somewhere.
Oh, man, yeah. We didn't even talk about that. He's been firing in the GG streets.
Yes, he has.
Trader. Of course, now he's back home, so he's probably got to wait until he goes back to another exotic location.
Playing dad, doing interviews, just juggling all of it and having a good time as he does it. And let's just get a look at some of the highlights of Bill's life, Brent. Just an impressive individual.
He really is. I mean, what can't this guy do? He's also been a staple inside the PokerGO studio on all of our live programming. Just a tremendous guy.
Now, Perkins is no stranger to social media, and neither are the people responsible for our tweets of the week as we head into the home stretch. First, but by no means least, that's not the way it goes. It's last, but by no means least. It's Kev Math. I'm not going to say the screen name that he's referring to here, but it belongs to Bryan Piccioli.
What's wrong with it, Ali?
It's inappropriate, Brent.
I didn't see any swear words. It must just read comprehension, huh?
Look it up.
Yep.
Look it up.
Okay.
And next up, we have Jason Kuhn, who was with us last week on the show, talking about how he would lean toward aggressive players to coach as opposed to passive ones.
Yeah, I like this. Of course, you want to go with the total psychopath who's just going to go for it, run every bluff they can. He's going to tame the beast a little bit.
Yeah, the only issue was that he got so many responses to the tweet that he had to clarify he's not actually coaching. Not taking any students. No Mr. Miyagi-kun. He's just out there doing his own thing. Imagine how expensive he would be.
No, I don't think it's
the opportunity cost of coaching either of us. We can't afford it. And next up, how about a little, oh, look at this, a Phil Hellmuth self-promotion tweet.
I've never seen anything like this. Who would ever dare suggest that this man is a narcissist?
How out of the ordinary. He is lovable, though, and he loves himself some golf, even when there's no one there on the course with him, apparently.
Brought his own speaker, Ali.
And his own cigar.
Wow, look at that sucker.
Good times, as always. What do you have on tap for this week? You said you were threatening to go to Mexico after you saw Piccioli's.
I want to go to Mexico. I want to go down there to the beach, spend some time with my guy, Bryan, maybe bring home a little bracelet of my own, huh?
Well, let's take a look at the events that are coming up, and maybe something on the menu will tickle your fancy. As you see what is on tap, you got a little spin the wheel, people's choice, event 81, but the real story to me, on September 6th, a couple of big guarantees, the $5 million and the $2 million.
Yeah, discrepancy too. 10K or 100, Ali? Oh, play them both.
You've got the full range.
No.
You're not doing a 10K, but you should get in there for the 100.
I think I could find a $100 bill. I can't find a brick of cash, but. Yeah.
Would you drive to Mexico?
Well, I wouldn't fly.
Why wouldn't you fly?
No, I'm not flying.
I flew to San Diego for the weekend, and it was fine. The middle seats are empty.
I like a nice road trip. I really do. I don't need the airplane.
I could just see you getting pulled over by a Federale. That would be a great YouTube video. It would just be unbelievable. Why don't you drive to Mexico?
I will. You want to go with me?
Maybe you'll get back. I do not want to go.
We'll load up the truck. Come on, you and I. Let's go down there.
You're making it awkward at the end, and nobody wants to see that. Listen, good luck to all of you out there on the cyber felt. Tweet us. Get a hold of us. Go to Mexico. Have a beer with Bryan. Do whatever you got to do. You're doing the thing, aren't you?
I'm doing.
We'll see you next week. Oh, you threw it at the camera. No.